Leadership is not about the titles you earn. It's about the barriers you break. Any song or quote or thought that relates to your journey?
Roosevelt once said that women are like tea bags. You don't know how strong they are until you put them in hot water.
Oh wow. What would you think she would say to you, your younger self?
Well done. Because life is so short, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Leadership is not about the titles you earn. It's about the barriers you break. And sometimes breaking one barrier leads to opening doors for many others. My guest, ladies and gentlemen, here today, a woman who did exactly that. She entered into a profession that is known for precision, pressure, and let's be honest, patriarchy. She was one of the few women in the 1990s to qualify as a chartered accountant, a profession that was chosen by very few women. And also, she became the first women partner in the Big Four firms. She's been recognized among the global 200 women power leaders in 2024 and was also named as CA Woman of the Year in 2018. And now she mentors the next generation of chartered accountants. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Moneeza Butt, who has actually made the numbers mean something. So welcome Moneeza. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much, Uroosa. It's a pleasure to be over here.
Thank you so much. So let's start with our, we'll start with a reflective journey. And let's talk about you joining the KPMG takriban 3 दहाइयाँ पहले, to be very specific.
3 decades, yes.
3 decades back. So when you joined KPMG as a young trainee, what were your dreams? क्या सोच के आप आई थी? And क्या आपने सोचा था कि you would be the first, woman partner for the Big Fours?
No, I had never thought about that. Actually, my mother always wanted me to take up medicine.
Okay.
But somehow, I don't know, because I come from a family of doctors, I didn't want to pursue medicine. I wanted to do something different.
Because usually होता ये है कि जहाँ family में doctors होते हैं, बहुत influence होता है.
Yes,
you want to become that.
So it was like, an unsaid role that they thought all the siblings are going to do medicine. And I think I had a rebellious nature from the start.
Okay.
Because although all my other siblings are doctors, but I was like, no, I didn't want to do medicine, that was sure. And I was just trying to explore what other options did I have. And I think IB at that time was one of the best options available. But unfortunately, I quote this example everywhere because people should not get sad by facing failures and all. They shouldn't think that all doors are closed, because I flunked the IBA test. I studied so hard for it. I was looking forward to being an IBA graduate, but I flunked the test. And then
blessing in disguise.
I think it was, yes, because we should always accept whatever comes our way through nature. And then once I flunked it, I remember my elder sister asking me, now what do you have, what are your plans now? So then this ad came in the newspaper about CA, where they were taking, a fresh batch right after intermediate and A-levels. So I thought I'll apply for that, and I passed the aptitude test, and the rest is history. And then I joined KPMG. And once I joined KPMG, although it's an innate thing in me to whatever I do, I try to give it my best. So while studying accountancy, I had never had a stint with accountancy before, and I was just exploring the field. And while being at KPMG, I never thought that I'll become a partner, because there were no female partners ever in the Big Four.
Exactly.
So in the smaller firms, like a father owns a firm and the daughter becomes like a partner. There was stuff like that, but in the Big Four global firm, we didn't have a female in that role. So I also never envisaged myself to be, in that leadership position at all. And I was just living my life, in the sense that I qualified and I stayed on with them. There were a lot of corporate offers that came my way. But because, when you get comfortable with an employer, I think that is one of the things that women always appreciate. And at KPMG, because I had articled with them, they knew my potential. They knew sometimes things, you don't perform that well, but but they know that she's worth a lot more, So because of that, there was a lot of comfort in in being in that organization. And after I qualified, I stayed on. I rose to different managerial positions, but I think the main turning point in my career came when I was expecting my firstborn. And I thought that after they gave me maternity leave, and by that time KPMG did not have any maternity leave policy because no woman had stayed so long with them. And I think me being there, they said thinking about they should have a policy like this. And after I came back from my maternity
आपने basically challenge किया उनके thought process को भी challenge किया.
They were very forthcoming with it. It was not as if they didn't, because there was no woman at all over there in that position. So they also never thought about making policies, to make it conducive. But they were very willing and they were very flexible about, how they can improve their organization and make it more women friendly, as I would say. And after I came back from my maternity leave, I was ready with the resignation, because how with your firstborn, mothers think that they will not leave their child, they'll be with them 24/7, which is
Family
not humanly possible.
And
somehow you feel that, oh no, life will end and I'm not going to continue with my career. And it is at that time that my senior partner, he offered me partnership. And it really set me thinking, because I was like, it would be creating history. And I always appreciate the fact that the leadership of my firm at that time, they did a lot of hand holding with me, and they were very patient with me, because women, how it is, they're very apologetic about everything. They would be performing as well as a man, in fact even better, but they'll never try to take credit for it. And I was no different. Even I was like that. I think I was performing, if not better, than at par with my male colleagues. But whenever it was the time to take some credit, I would always think, no, maybe it was not that good that
teamwork,
I performed. Yes, it's teamwork, and I would not be able to take that credit that came my way. So when they offered me partnership, my first reaction was, no, I don't think I can do that.
Oh my God.
And they were so surprised, because my male colleagues were vying for that position, and they offered it to me and not to my male peers. And it took me around 1.5 years to convince myself that I would be ready for partnership. And I really am thankful to the leadership of my firm that they held my hand during that whole process, and they gave me that confidence, that no, you can do it. If we see that you can do it, then there's nothing that should stop you. So that's how I stepped into that role.
So you said that your family wanted you to get into medicine. You applied to IBA but couldn't get in, and then as a fallback you went into this profession. So there must have been moments जहाँ आपको लग रहा होगा this is not for me. So obviously, besides the organization and the leadership team holding your hand and helping you follow the course, who else other than that, and what thought actually led you to continue with the profession?
CA is such a difficult field.
Yes.
Now they're still making it more user friendly, as you can say.
Okay.
But at my time, if you did not pass one subject, if you pass the other subject but one subject, you get a refer, they say. And if you do not pass that refer in 2 attempts, your whole group would lapse, of exams. So it was very tough at that time. And there was so many times that you felt that, what am I doing? What have I got myself into? But as I told you, I've always had that rebellious streak in me, where I feel that there is nothing that one cannot do. We impose limitations on our own self. That there are no limitations for man, so but we somehow, especially women, they impose so many limitations on their own self, their own thinking. They feel that no, we might not be able to do this. I think I have always challenged that, and whenever I have been pushed against the wall, I've come back stronger. So, even while doing CA, I remember my mother telling me, nobody passes CA. What have you got yourself into? I was like, no, I'll let me try and do it and let me see,
Exactly.
And then, Alhamdulillah, I got through. I think attitude is very important. If you have the right kind of attitude and the right mindset, you can just achieve anything then.
That's wonderful. I mean, one important lesson that comes out, especially from this segment of our questions, is attitude. I think the kind of thought process that you carry when you're doing something really makes or breaks your journey.
So
So
true.
that's very important. So I'd like to refer to one of the ICAP's data over here, that less than 20% registered women are chartered accountants in Pakistan, and probably very little number makes it to the leadership roles. How do you feel about that, and how do you think we can actually make a difference in this area, we both being women? What is it that can be done in this segment?
I always say that accountancy is such a good profession for women.
Okay.
But somehow, I don't know, I think women, they tend to shy away from numbers.
Yeah.
They feel, oh, if it's something about maths or something to do with figures and all, they feel that they would not be so good at it. But that's not the case at all, I think women can be equally, if not more good as men at anything that they do. The numbers are coming up, thankfully, in accountancy. And when I started, in my batch of like 150 men, I think there were just 3 or 4 females. And that also just trickled down to like me being the only female in my class. So, from that situation to now that we see, there are a lot of women who are taking up this career. The actual challenge, Uroosa, comes, when women get married.
Yeah.
And that's not just for accountancy. I think that's for
Any
the whole
profession.
corporate world, any profession, that, once they get married, they feel, like maybe family limitations, maybe their spouse, has been posted somewhere abroad, and, they face these limitations. So this is something that they need to look into. And I believe that even if they are posted, their spouse is posted somewhere else and they move to another country, they should still pursue their career in some form or the other.
Yeah.
There's so many things that they can do. They just don't try to explore. I feel if you explore, there are a lot of ways that you can contribute to the profession that you have studied. And now, especially after COVID, we've discovered new ways of working, flexible working, remote working. So there are a lot of things that can be tapped. The only thing is, I feel that women, they have a tendency of thinking that, oh, my circumstances are such, so I will not be able to pursue this. So I believe whether you are a wife, whether you are a mother, you just need to put your mind into what you want to do.
True.
And then think how you are going to achieve that.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the real key in how you can achieve that within those circumstances.
Yes.
I think हम circumstances को limitation समझते हैं, whereas वो limitations नहीं है, वो एक तरह के hurdles हैं जो आपको और तैयार करते हैं for the
challenges actually.
Exactly.
And life is all about challenges.
Exactly. So they prepare you for the next bigger challenge.
Yes,
actually.
Yes, exactly.
अच्छा, here I would also like to now, क्योंकि अभी हम reflection वाले ही segment में चल रहे हैं. So reflection पे, when when again coming back to your younger self, if she would see you as a leader, as a role model now, progressing, mashallah, alhamdulillah, what would you think she would say to you, your younger self?
Well done.
Okay.
No, because as I told you, I didn't have any dream of becoming a chartered accountant or being a partner in the Big Four. And I just took life as it was coming my way. And, when nature gives you certain opportunities, I feel that you should definitely seize those opportunities and, make use of them. So I guess my younger self was so carefree and not so serious ever. So she would definitely say, okay, you've done well.
All right. That's wonderful. Great. So a little fun fact for our audience over here, that when Moneeza joined KPMG 30 years back, mobile phones weighed around 1 kilogram and teams नहीं थे, emails बहुत rarely इस्तेमाल होती थी, बहुत rarely, और हमारे पास इस तरह के कोई भी fancy WhatsApp नहीं था, tools नहीं थे. So just imagine how auditing and meetings and dealing with clients would be like. So coming back to our next segment now, next segment is about from numbers to narratives. Okay, and now I would bring our audience to the fact that you have recently, not very recent in the past, but for some time you've moved from audit to ESG, sustainability and governance, something that is actually redefining how the business is being done these days. And with this focus area, how are you helping the businesses, bring in that element of governance? So how you bring that governance in?
Yes, Uroosa, I'm still part of Audit actually, because
Okay.
but the thing is, ESG is such an important aspect, which I feel is not gaining that much traction. There are a lot of quarters that are like trying to propagate about it, and now internationally it's become such a hot topic. But there's a lot of greenwashing also. Like people are just talking about it, but nobody's doing anything tangible. So this is something that we really need to look into, especially in Pakistan. You see, we have been the victims of climate change. I would say, we've seen the flooding that has taken place, the earthquakes that are happening. So we really need to give importance to this aspect, and environment, governance, all the social aspect of doing business. This is such an important perspective. And recently, the standards have come out, S1 and S2, IFRS S1 and S2, which relate to all these disclosures that companies need to make into their financial statements to make them accountable for how they're giving back to the community. And what tangible stuff that they're doing. And I believe going forward, this report that they write is going to be audited as well. And a lot of awareness is taking place, but I think still a lot more needs to be done. Until I think it does not become they try to have it regulated through the regulators, and to make it
a lot more emphasis need to be
to make it mandatory for those disclosures to come in. But I still feel that people are right now just groping in the dark a bit. Some clarity needs to come in, and with time, I believe, yes, we will be able to handle this as well, because it is something that cannot be ignored at all. You need to have appropriate governance in place. Only then businesses will thrive. You need to give back to the community. You need to think about Mother Nature. You need to think about the environment, and only then I think the whole world will flourish at large.
I recently attended a Pakistan, the directors program from PICG, and as part of the curriculum, it's that part
they've
of
incorporated that.
Yeah,
in the
they've
training,
incorporated
that.
In fact, other aspects like cybersecurity, so they've incorporated that, and I think that's part of the now corporate governance as well. And responsibility, one of the responsibilities of the board. In fact, I've seen that many companies now have a sustainability committee of the board as well. But I've read that only still 25% of Pakistani listed companies are actually putting up their ESG disclosures.
That's what I mentioned and referred to. So I think it's going to become mandatory, and they're going to do it in phases actually. So that it is appropriate reporting, it's transparent reporting, and it is something which can be verified as well. It's not something that a company just writes about it and it cannot be substantiated.
As you said, that it should not be a checkbox.
Yes. And that is called greenwashing. So we don't want to just be talking about it because it's like a buzzword. We need to be actually doing something concrete and tangible, which really helps the community at large.
So what actually triggered that shift in your thought process? कि आप उस तरफ भी आप focus कर रही हैं, just because the law is there, or is something that is
because internationally it is one of I would say the trends that is coming out, and we've seen very it has rung home actually with what is happening around with the climate change, with the environment, how I believe our exports would also be affected if we are not ESG compliant and all. So that all relates to business. So it's not a shift. I think it's just something that is like a new I would say trend, or a new aspect that has come in, and with our profession we need to be updated about all these new perspectives that come in. So this is embracing the new I would say
the new norm and new perspectives. We're talking about the new norm and new perspective and trends. And since you are a mother of Gen Zs, what if I ask you to give a new name to Audit? more like a Gen Z kind of name, what do you think would that be?
So, Gen Z have a complete language, which I'm totally like, I think even when my kids use that language, I'm at a loss. I'm like, what did you say?
True.
Because they have short forms for so many words. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Please explain this to me.
Yeah.
So, I think another, what would I say? Like for audit, another word, maybe like... because inspection, investigation, substantiation,
those are very
these are like very traditional words that go along with that. Futuristic, I would say.
Futuristic or okay, making sense of chaos, maybe.
Yes.
All right, interesting. Okay, so again, a little shift from your from numbers to narratives. अब हम shift करते हैं. You as a mentor, leading beyond self, the key theme and title of the whole show is Rise Beyond Titles. First of all, I'd like to ask you, what is your perspective of Rise Beyond Titles?
For me as a person, titles have never mattered. It's like, I believe it's the person who creates the impact. Titles come along the way. That's fine. It can be a measure of your success, maybe. But what you are as a person and what you can contribute, to others, to society at large, is what really matters. And with that perspective in mind, I'm also a mentor for the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I've mentored quite a few people. And, when they were starting with the mentorship programs, they said, they're bringing me in because they thought maybe the females of the profession would be able to relate to me and, would be able to, like, I would be able to guide them better. And Uroosa, it was like, such a pleasant surprise that even the men approached me. So like, so like that set me thinking that, it's not just females, it's the men also who need appropriate advice from another gender, from the other gender, to understand things better in what's happening in their life. And, the advice that they required ranged from like personal to home to careers. It was such a different, varied, things that I was like mentoring on, And for mentorship, I think the key is that you can't decide for the person yourself. You just open different options for them and give them that confidence. And, so many times it's happened that, these mentees that have come in, they know the answer. They know the answer, but they just lack that confidence of
some validation.
Exactly.
What
was like what they're thinking and what they perceive is the right thing. So they just need that confidence to like tell them that no, it's okay, go ahead.
Absolutely.
And apart from that, I think it is so important that we all like who can in their capacity give back to society. I'm part of the Pink Ribbon as well. It's like an organization that creates breast cancer awareness. And because, two very dear aunts of mine, they passed away because of breast cancer. So this was a cause which is very close to my heart. I'm part of the Karachi chapter. And we raise funds, for the awareness of this and also for the building of a hospital. I'm part of the Inner Circle of Hunar Foundation. We are corporate ambassadors for Indus Foundation. There's this community policing. I'm part of their women wing. And they're doing such a marvelous job. You see all these cameras that have been put up, and the Safe City project. So CPK has a lot of has played a great role in that. So these are all initiatives that I believe like
kind of working beyond self.
Exactly. And that's what life is all about.
True.
You just don't live for yourself. You live to like leave a legacy, create an impact. That's what really matters actually, not titles at all.
Exactly. I was intrigued to ask this question that, I mean, you do so much. Abhi aapne bataya ki you're part of, the Hunar Foundation fundraising, plus the Pink Toba, society, the Karachi chapter, and all those, societies, plus your professional commitments, plus you being a mother, plus you being, out there in many social events that I see. I mean, there's so much that you do, and at times I'm like, how does this woman do it? Superwoman, I at times feel. So how do you do it? I mean, I wanted to ask this question. I'm sure many of our audience would love to know.
Yeah, I've got that a number of times actually.
Okay.
People ask, how do you do it?
Yeah.
So, I feel that, it's a mindset. If you put your mind to it that, yes, I can do that, then there's nothing that you cannot achieve. Like there are so many commitments, at work, personal commitments, kids commitments and all.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a tough day today. But then I always feel I'll manage through, I'll go through it. And I think one very important aspect is keeping your sense of humor intact. I think that is very important because life is so serious.
Exactly.
And people take life so seriously, they lack the humor, the element in life. So I believe that keeps me going because I feel that we shouldn't take life so seriously. It's like that humor, and having a good sense of humor and making humor of the situation really helps you to calm down and to get through with your tough days as well. Yes, exactly. So and if you think that no, I can get through it, I can do it. Yeah, it's okay. I'll manage.
And you generally get through it, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's wonderful. So if a mid-career woman asks you an advice as to she's taken a little break in her career, what is it that she should do? What advice would you give her?
Don't quit.
Don't quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't give up, because I think all women who are at leadership positions have at some point of time in their career been, through so many challenges where they feel that, maybe they'll quit or they won't be able to, continue. But don't quit. My advice is you can get through it, and as I said, if there's a will, there are ways, I won't say there is a way, there are ways, you just need to figure out your situation and how you can get through. Because, mostly I'll tell you, like when women leave their careers, it's either for family or it is for children or it is, for some other reason. And when those kids grow up, they themselves are going to snap back at you and say, we never asked you to leave your work.
Exactly.
And that leaves you in a situation where you feel,
you didn't do it for me.
Yes, exactly. So spend time on yourself, invest in yourself, I believe.
I think it's सबसे important चीज़ है for women to spend time on themselves. You समझती हैं कि they are born to serve, then you're not just born to serve. Service is one part of it.
Yes.
The rest is you.
Yes, exactly. And and when you spend time, on investing in your own self, you'll be a much better person also, and you'll be able to handle many more things in life. So it's very important.
And I think you mentioned a little while ago in the conversation that women generally lack that confidence and that they don't accept compliments. They're kind of shy away from that. Either they shy away from that, or वो इतनी आराम से उस confidence के साथ चीज़ों को ले नहीं रही होती. I'll share here a little study from global KPMG. It says that 6 out of 10 women say that they hesitate to apply for senior roles, whereas even if they meet all the listed requirements, whereas men apply when they meet even 60% of the listed requirements. That's one of the study
look
from
at the
global
disparity. I think I covered this, right? And I've been a victim of that, as I told you. I thought I will not be able to come into a leadership position or role, and I'm not good enough and all. And Uroosa, at KPMG, when you become a partner, it's not a local decision. They send you to an assessment center and to the global office where partners from different offices, different countries actually are assessing you and interviewing you and seeing how you because there are these professional actors that they get in, and you're supposed to enact a day in a partner's life. So they put you in a situation where you have a tough employee to deal with. There's a client meeting that you need to do. There's a report that you have to write. So it's a whole day that you need to enact with professional actors on the other side, and then they also interview you separately and all. And Alhamdulillah, when that happened, when I went for the assessment, I got alhamdulillah, such a good like report that one of my senior partners had said that they were asking, where had you hidden this gem?
Okay. Which is wonderful. Which is wonderful.
But when I think about it myself and what I was thinking about myself, like not being capable enough, not being good enough. Yes, exactly. How will I manage? What will happen to the kids? Like, will I be able to like, be good in my role as a mother, as a wife? All these things. And at the other end, like, and at the other end, those who were assessing me had a different completely view about like, my abilities and how I came across.
Which is wonderful. I think I'd like to, put this point across to all our audience, especially the women, that I feel women can do much more than men, because they have this innate capability of taking in so much. Multitasking की जो capability खवातीन में है,
so true.
वो मर्दों में, and I think management or leading तो innate है उनके अंदर. They are born leaders.
They are natural jugglers. You know how you have a juggler in the
and they're born leaders because eventually as a mother you become kind of a role model. You come into that leadership position already. So each woman gets to enjoy that leadership position.
So true.
हाँ, और आप उसको perceive वैसे नहीं करते, तो वो तो है अंदर कहीं है, सिर्फ उसको थोड़ा सा तराशना है. That's very important. So I wanted to bring everybody to that fact. And now we come to our kind of a little rapid fire round. ठीक है? And I'll give you a few questions and you will give me spontaneous answers. All right? So are you ready?
Okay.
No, those are very easy for you, I'm sure. You've already achieved, mashallah, so much. So one myth about women in finance you'd love to break.
They're good at numbers.
They're good at numbers. Yes, they are. They're not bad at numbers. I don't know. Even I've come across a lot of women who feel that, oh, number nahi.
I don't know. And women themselves also say, oh, it's something related to, figures, maths. I won't be able to do it. I don't know why they talk like that. They're good at numbers.
They're good at numbers. One piece of advice you wish someone gave you earlier.
You can achieve much more.
Okay. All right. डराने वाले ज़्यादा मिलते हैं.
No, because as I told you, I delayed my partnership by a year and a half. So, if somebody had told me at that time, no, you can. My leadership was very, supportive in the sense that they were like, giving me that confidence. But I wish somebody had told me, no, go for it right now, immediately.
Okay. Any song or quote or thought या कोई शेयर हो सकता है that relates to your journey, या आपको लगता है कि वो मेरी जर्नी.
Eleanor Roosevelt once said that women are like tea bags. You don't know how strong they are until you put them in hot water.
Oh wow, that's such a.
I really like that quote.
That truly resonates with what we've been talking about and the kind of thought process that you carry. That's wonderful, excellent, and I appreciate your candid responses. So now we come to kind of before we come to the closing segment, one quick question that. How do you kind of relax? How do you take that break and settle? Besides that, having that sense of humor that you said, so probably is it something that you watch that brings that laugh or eases your tensions, or what is it that you do that keeps you sane?
Shopping.
Oh, I love it.
I'm a shopaholic. And much to my husband's dismay. Okay. But I love shopping.
All right. I do too.
Whether it's online, physical, whatever.
I do too, by the way. But another thing that I've also observed, and that's a pure observation, I haven't heard about it, but an observation that I always see you full of life. एक होता है ना कि हमारे जहनों में एक perception होता है कि अच्छा professional women should look like this. वो इतना social नहीं होती, वो अपने बहुत serious होती है काम से काम. So I've always seen you smiling, very active in the social gatherings. Mashallah, always well dressed. You're enjoying, those kitty parties. From that kind of, women group, to this kind of women group, you're everywhere. And that's something that I love about you, that you have, you don't put yourself in a box, which is so wonderful. Again, we've talked about how you do it, but something that is unique about you.
We need to think out of the box. But I also believe I'm a people's person, actually, So I love interacting with people. I hardly get time to watch anything on TV or Netflix, and my husband loves watching Netflix, but I hardly get time to watch TV as such, because I'd rather, like, if I want to relax, I would rather go out and meet with friends, and that's how I believe I relax. And there are all sorts that make this world, and everybody, I'll tell you, has their own journey, because there's so many friends, colleagues, like women who, who are in KPMG, from the profession and at large, there's so many that they have their own story to tell. And what I have, understood all these years is that they're just looking for someone to hear their story.
Yeah.
And if you just lend that ear to them, they feel so good. They feel as if something has come off their chest, a burden has been released, and and then they start becoming so fond of you. So I think that's the reason, because I'm a good listener, and I believe that
a good talker too.
Thank you for that. But I'm telling you, really, you just need to listen to people, and you feel that they feel so light and they feel so nice about themselves. So and I think you need to be a people's person for that. So
that I can vouch for, because I want to tell everybody that this is the first time we are having this detailed conversation. We have had very brief meetings, and that too in a very professional setup. And I reached out to her and I said, this is something that I do. And she was like, game. And I said, wow, I love this woman. Because many are like, oh, I'm do this and that. They don't usually accept these kind of requests if you're not kind of known to them.
Actually, I feel women stereotype themselves, like they feel they need to dress in a certain way, in a certain color, if they're at work. Yeah, there are certain norms that you need to abide by, but just carry any color that you want to,
True.
Why say that, no, I will not wear this color, or I will not wear that? Certain limitations, like I know, for a place you need to be properly attired. But
otherwise,
be a woman, you are a woman, and you will dress up.
Absolutely. That's something very wonderful and something very spontaneous about you, which I love. So to the close, I would like to seek your message to all other women out there, and not just women, because you've been very inclusive in mentoring people. As a professional, as a role model, as someone who can do so much more, give back to the society, do things for self as well, what kind of message would you like to give to our audience?
As I said, people need to invest in their own self. Life is very short. Take that trip, buy that whatever handbag or whatever phone that, for example, men would be interested in phones, women are more inclined towards handbag. So buy that for yourself, because life is so short. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
True.
And, don't take life so seriously. I think include the humor element in your life, and just be the best person that you can be. I was just reading somewhere, Cinderella's mother gave Cinderella advice, and she said, have courage and be kind. Because when you are kind, it creates another kind of magic. It creates goodness, it creates another kind of magic. And that is something that I really, it resonated with me, you need to have the courage. You don't need to cover down, you need to be brave, you need to have courage. But at the same time, you need to be kind. We need kind people in this world.
Yeah. So with this, we come to the close. So everyone who are listening our show today, I would like to give a message that you don't have to fit into a system where you don't belong to. You just have to take the first step. You just have to take that first win, put a little bit of hard work, invest in yourself, and finally be kind. And be kind to yourself and be kind to others. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's wonderful episode. I've had a very lovely, feeling talking to you, and I felt that, oh my God, I can resonate so much with this woman, and the kind of energy that you carry. I think our audience will actually will feel that energy when they watch the show. So thank you so much. much.
Thank you.
And please stay tuned for another episode which is coming in soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Allah Hafiz.
Khud Hafiz.